wait.
Sing.
Mine is a terrible thing to waste. Terrible thing to waste.
Welcome once again to Red Reviews Get Out! That is the name of the movie we got to see today. And I would say at the beginning of the year, I kind of lay a calendar out. I look at all the release dates for movies coming up. So I kind of plan my year out. So for the most part, January through December for a given year, I kind of know what I'm going to see. I mark it on the calendar. That's how I know when I need to kind of hone in, start to get ready for that specific movie, get the good old review ready to go. And Get Out was not on my list. There was nowhere even on my radar of movies I should watch or should check out until about a week ago. I finally caught the trailer for Get Out, and from the first trailer, I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna have to watch this one. We're gonna have to do a review on it because it looks like it could be something special, or it's just gonna be something generic. Because at first I was like, oh, there's a horror movie coming out. It's called Get Out. Well, a horror movie called Get Out, that sounds about as generic as you can get. I'm so glad that I got to see this movie in theaters. I'm so glad I put it on my schedule because this is like a cure for wellness, at least in my eyes. This is movies we don't get very often. This is a horror, suspense, thriller, mystery, a little bit of comedy in there, and it's so hard to blend all those together, and Get Out does it very, very well. This is one of those special movies that actually honors all of the genres that it's falling into, and it tells a good story, keeps you on the edge of your seat very well. What is Get Out about? Well, if you haven't seen the trailers, there is this interracial couple. A white girl is dating this black guy, and it's they've been dating for about 4 months now, and it's time once again to do the dreaded Meet the Parents, which can be a horror movie in and of itself. As a guy who's had to meet a girlfriend's parents before, it is rather nerve-wracking, and he has to get over the obstacle of, well, he's going to meet this kind of stereotypical white family, and he is this African-American fella. So how are they going to react to him? They do not know of his race. So that's what the movie's about. On the surface, you know, the tension that's being built, at least for the first 30, 35 minutes, although you can kind of tell there's points of something sinister happening underneath the surface, it is like that type of storytelling where we all do it, and we're all guilty of it, at least for the most part. How we act around someone of a different race or a different ethnicity or even a different gender, and it's dealing with those on the surface. That's the larger sort of the word I want to say, the larger theme that the movie is trying to address is how we act, how should we act, and we make a big deal about it, and they kind of do in this movie, like, oh, yeah, I voted for Obama, but and why do we do that? I mean, why can't we just accept him for who he is? Why do we have to make comments like that and try and make him feel at ease? Shouldn't we just see him as another human being, or in anyone's life's sake, right? Despite ethnicity, despite gender, despite race, despite religion, why do we make those jokes like that? And that's sort of what the early part of the movie is playing at, is how we sort of treat other people based off how society thinks that we should treat them. But of course, this is a horror, suspense, thriller type of movie, and there's something definitely more sinister happening with the family as the events unfold. This is like a cure for wellness, where I'm just like, get out of here, man. Every step of the way, you want this guy to just run. But he doesn't. He stays, and I don't want to spoil anything. And the family is not all that they seem. And I gotta praise the script. The script is a good script. What I like about this movie is the dialogue. Sometimes you get movies with very good. You got like Quentin Tarantino style dialogue. It's very rich, but people don't talk like that. What I like about this dialogue is this is how people talk in real life. This is how couples talk. This is how a father addresses his daughter. This is how a father sort of addresses the boyfriend. So it's that type of dialogue where you kind of just are eavesdropping with a camera in on someone's life, not so much writing dialogue script for a movie for them. So I do enjoy when it's sort of that real take on real people, because people don't always talk and say things like they do in movies. The acting is great. You never know, once again, who to trust, whose side should you be on. Bradley Whitford in this one. I don't get enough Bradley Whitford. And from this first trailer, I didn't even know that was him. This older gray look that he has going on, it's a good look for him. And, of course, he's the father of the daughter the guy's dating. So, of course, he gets to be extra sinister. And I think we've all been waiting for a movie where Bradley Whitford could actually be truly sinister. And he finally got that chance in Get Out. There's also a comedic aspect to this movie. There's the comedy relief, and that can almost make or break, especially when you have a horror suspense, when you're building suspense, when you're watching something it's in the horror genre, and then you slam some kind of comedic element in there, comedy relief, and it just automatically takes you out of it. That character, the comedic relief character, he worked for me in this one as well. The director, writer of this movie, Jordan Peele, sort of is known more for his comedic aspects or his comedy works than for horror. This is kind of his first venture into that kind of territory. So you could tell that part wasn't too much of a stretch for him. Neither was the horror though. But so he was able to integrate the comedy or comedic aspects into the movie that you almost you take. It's a refresher because you're watching things that are keeping you on the edge of your seat as this mystery, this thriller unravels. That it takes, it's okay to have a little bit of a laugh here and there and take a little bit of a breather. So that character, he services his job in the story. It doesn't break anything from the movie. It doesn't take anything away from the movie. So I do praise how that character was handled. So we got, once again, we got a movie with, it's greatly acted. I like Bradley Whitford, as I said. He's the name that jumps out at me when I look at the IMDb page. When I see this movie, I don't recognize a lot of the actors, and I do enjoy movies like this that are more on the horror, thriller, the smaller scale, trying to tell that story. I like when I don't recognize all the actors. I also like the pacing of this movie. It's one of those ones, it's not going to start throwing slashers and killers in your face in the first, the first 30 minutes. It's one of those slow builds, kind of the throwback to the way they used to do horror, sort of like a John Carpenter-esque type movie where we have to build and we build and we build, and you're just like, when are we going to get the payoff? When are we going to see the next door open and lead to the next mystery? And it's that anticipation that definitely builds it to one hell of a payoff in the end. So you got to check out Get Out. Like I said, like I did A Cure for Wellness, I'm not going to get into any spoilers. Sometimes I get into spoilers. Once again, if I get into anything past maybe the 30-35 minute mark beyond what I've talked about, I'm just going to start ruining surprises. I'm going to start ruining things for you, and I don't want to do that. So go check out Get Out. It is definitely a must-see thriller of the year. So I'll catch you guys next time. Like and subscribe right here on Red Reviews.